just to point out a couple of special guests in the audience at the moment. Visiting Canada from Israel, we have Professor and Mrs. Uzi Rabi. Professor Rabi is Director of the Moshe Dayan Center for Middle Eastern Studies at Tel Aviv University. So we welcome you. We all know Rabbi and Dina very well, but I think it's important for us to learn a little bit more about their backgrounds and to give them a proper introduction on such a special occasion. Dina was born and raised in the Crown Heights section of Brooklyn. Evidently there's Jews in Crown Heights. Her interest in Jewish education started at a very young age. She devoted her free time to Jewish education while working at summer camps. Dina graduated from the Associated Beth Rivka School's Division of Higher Learning, where she earned her teaching degree. It took 2 years just to learn the name of that school. Rabbi Bloom was born and raised in Paris, France. He pursued his rabbinical studies and received his rabbinical ordination in Brooklyn, New York. He's proud to say that he had the privilege to study under the guidance of the Lubavitcher Rebbe. Rabbi Bloom attributes his inspiration to the Rebbe who taught him the importance of venturing out into communities to teach and to learn. They say, join Chabad, see the world. Well, you say it anyway. Rabbi Bloom studied and worked in Australia, England, Morocco, Russia, and Moldova. I'm sure I missed a couple. My favorite story is that Rabbi tells us selling etrogs on the street in Budapest. Antwerp? Great stories. Sometime ask me to tell it to you. Dina and Rabbi Bloom were married in 1995 and moved here in 1996. They founded the Ottawa Torah Center in 1998 on the premise that Jewish education and meaningful experiences are the grassroots method to fighting the forces of indifference, apathy, and assimilation that face North American Jewry. Many of us know that Rabbi Bloom has worked hand in hand with many local Jewish organizations over the years to develop many educational activities and social programs for people of all ages. Dina now serves as the program director at the Ottawa Torah Center. She teaches and coordinates the Judaic Studies program for the OTC Chabad Hebrew School, which she has built from an original roster of 5 people, 5 kids, up to almost 90 this year. For that accomplishment, Dina was recognized by the Jewish Federation of Ottawa and received the Steinhardt Greensmith Award for Excellence in Jewish Education. Together they have 5 wonderful kids. And above all, I know on this day that the Blooms are most happy to be here as parents and as children themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, Dina and Rabbi Menachem Bloom.
Thank you for this kind introduction. Dear rabbis, Israeli Ambassador to Canada, His Excellency Mr. Raphael Barak, and Pierre Pellier, His Worship, Mayor Jim Watson, Councillor Jen Harder, our dear parents and family members who came in for this special occasion, dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to History in the Making. For many long years, we have hoped and dreamed, sweated and toiled, so that we might reach the milestone we are celebrating today, the grand opening of the new Ottawa Torah Center Chabad in the nation's capital. First and foremost, we express our boundless gratitude to God Almighty, She'achiyanu v'kiyimanu v'higiyanu l'zman hazeh, for having vitalized us and sustained us, and for showing us His providence and miracles every step of the way during this long and often challenging journey, so that we may enjoy this rendezvous with our destiny. Zeh hayom asa Hashem nagila v'nismach havo. This is a great day the Almighty has given us. Let us exult and rejoice in its glory and grandeur. Mazel tov, l'chaim v'libracha, to life and to blessings. The Talmud tells the story of how one of the sages, named Chani Hamagal, was once walking along when he saw an old man hard at work planting a carob tree. Knowing that it takes 70 years for such a tree to mature and bear fruit, Chani said to the old man, "What is the point of your hard work? Surely you realize that you will not live long enough to see the fruit of your labor." "True enough," said the old man, "but the fact is that in my lifetime I was able to enjoy the taste of carob because those who came before me had the foresight and selflessness to plant on my behalf. As my ancestors planted for me, I must now plant for my children and grandchildren so that they may likewise be nourished by the fruit of the carob just as I have been." The Talmud goes on to describe a set of unusual circumstances that allowed Chani to still be living 70 years after the encounter. He revisited the spot where he had the conversation with the old man 7 decades earlier. There he saw a young man sitting under a lush and majestic carob tree, snacking on its sweet fruit. "Do you know who planted this tree?" Chani asked the young man. "I sure do," he replied. "My grandfather planted it 70 years ago." That, my friends, is the story of the Jewish people. We not only live for ourselves, we not only live for today. We live with a broader view of history, a larger perspective of the world in which we live, and the impact we are meant to have upon it for whatever time we are blessed to inhabit it. When one lives with such a sense of purpose, when one studies the words of Torah and celebrates the richness of our heritage, one cannot help but be inspired by the beautiful trees that have been planted on our behalf by those who came before us. Our own mandate thus becomes abundantly clear. As our ancestors planted for us, so we must now plant for our children and our children's children. As Jews, as descendants of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, how can we not? Ladies and gentlemen, this is what is happening here today. Eitz chayim hi lamachazikim ba v'tomcheha me'ushar. The Torah is a tree of life to all who hold fast to it, and fortunate are those who support it. Today we bear witness to the emergence of a stately, magnificent, lush, and majestic tree of life right here in Ottawa. That which has been so savagely torn and taken from our people during last century is being rebuilt and replanted in all of its glory and splendor right here in our own times. Today we see before our eyes one of those trees of life in the form of this synagogue community center. To paraphrase what the man said under the carob tree to Chani Hamagal 2,000 years ago, as our ancestors planted for us, we must now plant for our children. This is who we are, my friends. As Jews, we never forget. We never stop living. We never stop giving. We go on building and rebuilding, planting and replanting. We go on teaching our children. We go on standing together as communities, bringing comfort and support to one another. We go on sharing our messages of goodness and godliness with the world, serving as a shining light unto the nations. As our ancestors planted for us, we now plant for our children.
You know what they say, behind every rabbi is a great Rebbitzin. Many are those who deserve credit and thanks for making this dream a reality. With utmost reverence, we honor our teacher, our mentor, the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rabbi Menachem Mendel Schneerson, under whose leadership the Chabad movement has flourished into the global phenomenon it is today. Back in the 1950s, with world Jewry still reeling from the horrors of the Holocaust, the Rebbe launched the Yoforatsta initiative, dispatching his shluchim or emissaries to the far-flung corners of the earth to counter the tide of assimilation revive the Jewish spirit, and rebuild Judaism from the ashes. From then on, the Rebbe continued to inspire first hundreds and thousands of his followers to selflessly dedicate themselves to a life of service and outreach to their fellow Jews and their fellow human beings. Every single day of our lives, Dina and I thank God that we have been granted the privilege of serving as the Rebbe's shluchim here to Ottawa. We're humbled beyond words by this blessing and this awesome responsibility. We remain forever indebted to our Rebbe, whose legacy and inspiration remains the catalyst and engine fuel for all of our activities and achievements, including the realization of this awesome dream. One of the lessons that the Rebbe taught us is to never be satisfied with our current standing. When it comes to education and improving the moral, spiritual, and physical well-being of the environment around us, we don't become over-impressed with what we have accomplished so far. We remain focused on how much more we can accomplish. This momentous event we are celebrating today is uplifting and inspiring, and really is nothing short of miraculous. For the last 17 years, we dared to dream an ambitious and seemingly impossible dream, to build in Barhaven a center of education, communal celebration, a place that every Jew can call home, a place that will contribute to ensuring a vibrant Jewish future for our community. Look at this building. Look at what the brilliance of our imagination, the courage of our convictions, and what the generosity of our community has produced. The impossible dream has become a dynamic reality. Having said that, I think it behooves us to caution against one thing, and that is contentment. The fact that we have built this beautiful facility does not mean that our work is done. On the contrary, our work has just begun. Until our classrooms are filled to capacity with children singing proudly of the joys of our heritage, until adults from all walks of life are flocking to our doors to discover a sense of meaning and connection, our work has only just begun. Until our gathering hall is completely booked with cultural, social, and educational events, family simchas, holiday celebrations, and community events, until the delicious aromas of our kosher kitchen are sensed most days of the year, until our prayer services are standing room only, until our library is used on a daily basis as a resource for Jewish learning, our work has only just begun. Yesterday is a tremendous celebration, and celebrate we shall. For those of you who were worried, we made sure that plenty of l'chaims will be available. But at the same time, I do have a written script, but at the same time, reflecting on how far we have come is a luxury that we must not indulge in. We must continue and take the next step in our noble endeavor, as long as they are children in need of Jewish education, as long as there is a society in need of direction, as long as there are individuals looking for hope, friendship, meaning, and direction, as long as there is a need for a community to join together with God and the celebration of life. We cannot, and we dare not, stop dreaming and climbing higher and higher. So as joyous and as glorious as this day may be, let it not only serve as a celebration for how far we have come, but also as a communal recognition of where we have yet to go. Let's rededicate ourselves to the ideals and values that we as a community cherish and hold dear, as our ancestors planted for us. So we must continue to plant for our children and our children's children. I'd like to take a moment here, if I may, to recognize the participation of our son, Label, and our 4 daughters, Mushka, Rivka, Chana, and Shana, in our mission. all of them born here in Ottawa. And all of them active participants in our activities. As well, we recognize tonight both of our parents who are here today and who are surely proud and Sheping Nachas. A big thank you to our OTC family, our regular shulgoers, our Hebrew school families, and all of you who participate in our programs. It is you who make OTC such a wonderful place to be a part of. More than just a place of study, worship, and celebration, OTC is a place for people to connect as fellow Jews, as friends, as a mishpacha. Indeed, if there is one thing that people commonly point out as the hallmark of OTC, it is the sense of warmth, non-judgmental approach, friendship, caring, and connection with which we interact with one another, as we call it, the OTC family. Last but not least, our heartfelt thanks to all our benevolent friends and supporters. It takes vision, it takes selflessness, and it takes sacrifice to part with one's own resources for the sake of the greater good. But such is the mark of people who live with a sense of a higher purpose, and such is the mark made by all of you who partnered generously in this historic endeavor. Whether you contributed $18 or $18,000 to this campaign, you, my friends, are the ones who gave this community this tremendous gift. More than anything I can convey in words, I believe that this building itself shall stand as the greatest tribute and source of gratification for what you have done. As our ancestors planted for us, so you have partnered in the planting of this momentous tree of life for our children and our children's children. Thank you all so very, very much.